So GameCube games could be coming to the Nintendo Switch according to some insiders. So in this video, let's talk about some cool GameCube games I would like to see on the Nintendo Switch. And why I also think GameCube games would be cool to play on the Nintendo Switch, because there is a very specific reason why I want them. Make sure you guys tell me what GameCube games you want to see on the Nintendo Switch in the comment section. And if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, it helps the video reach more viewers when you do, and also subscribe for more content including news, rumors, leaks, and other cool Nintendo videos. And if you want to follow me on my Twitter handle is roborob93. So first off, I want to give my reason on why I think GameCube games are perfect for the Nintendo Switch rather than, say, emulating them or playing them on a GameCube console or even playing them on another handheld console like the Steam Deck. It really comes down to the fact that you can take these games on the go. This is a huge thing for me personally. I don't know about you guys. The fact that I can play it on the TV or on the couch or even heck on the bus or even on the toilet. That's a pretty big deal to me. If I were to emulate them on a different handheld, say like the Steam Deck, I would have to spend $200+ on it. I already own a Nintendo Switch, and I'm sure a lot of you guys who are watching this video already own a Switch as well. There's also going through the process of getting those games running on the Steam Deck and other consoles as well. It's just a mess to mess around with, and I would rather have an easy way to play these games. Now, if the Switch didn't have portability, then I would probably want those games on the Nintendo Switch less. So yeah, that's why I want them on the Nintendo Switch. As to what games I would like to see, the first one I want to talk about is Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door on the Nintendo Switch. That would be fantastic. This, in my opinion, is the shining game, the best Paper Mario game in the series. I think the second one would have to be Super Paper Mario, because I really loved how they played with the perspective of the game. That was fantastic, and I really loved it. I need to go back and play that. But we're talking about GameCube right now. Let's focus on that. Paper Mario and the Origami King, in my eyes, was not the best Paper Mario game due to the fact that it stripped away a lot of the RPG mechanics away from the game and made the combat boring. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. The combat with the turntable and all of that, it was just boring. Visually, the game looked stunning, but the gameplay, not so much. Moving on to the next one, I would love to see Metroid Prime 1 on the Nintendo Switch. It is currently rumored right now that we are getting Metroid Prime 1, so that's really exciting. It's actually supposed to release in October, if I remember correctly. It's either October or November. So if we end up getting that on the Switch, that's going to be fantastic, because again, we're going to have it portable. And my time with Metroid games only extends to Metroid Prime Hunters on the DS, so the fact that I could end up potentially experiencing this Metroid Prime 1 game for the first time is really exciting. I love Metroid Prime Hunters, so I'm sure I'll love Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3 if those all eventually come to the Switch. Which, according to rumors, the other two are coming to the Switch as well. And next up is a game that I think would be amazing on the Nintendo Switch, even though we already have one of those games on the Switch, and that is Animal Crossing, the original Animal Crossing on the GameCube. This is the first Animal Crossing, unless you're counting the Nintendo 64 one, but this is the first one I personally played. Now, I know we have Animal Crossing New Horizon on the Nintendo Switch, but in my opinion, Animal Crossing on the GameCube is still fantastic to memory anyways. This might be nostalgia clouding my glasses, but I remember having a lot of fun on that game. It was a more simplistic Animal Crossing, and I think that's what made it so special. There wasn't crafting, there wasn't all of these new mechanics to wrap your head around. It was just you making your own life in a new town. I remember I used to spend hours upon hours taking turns with my cousin playing on our characters. It's one of the fonder memories I have of my childhood, and I would love to go back and play that. Again, it might be nostalgia, but I think it would be fantastic to play that game on the Switch. And don't get me wrong, I do love the other Animal Crossing games. Well, most of them. We don't talk about this one, not this one. And I love all the mechanics and all the extra stuff that they added, but it's the simplistic Animal Crossing experience that I love and that I remember from my childhood, I mean. And next up, let's get Beautiful Joe back on the Nintendo Switch, even if it is just Beautiful Joe from the GameCube. This game needs to be on the Nintendo Switch or come back in some way. Even a new game would be fantastic. Beautiful Joe still holds up very, very, very well, just like Wind Waker. The time mechanics were so fun to play with, and all the different moves that you can do and the ways you would dodge and the ways you would daze enemies. It's just a fantastic game. I went back and played some of it about 6 months ago because I was going to do a video on it, but then I just ended up scrapping it because other things came up. But it's actually a pretty difficult game compared to games nowadays. Like, it does not hold any punches, and I'm going to be honest, honest, it was a little bit frustrating, but still really fun to play. Being a movie fan myself and going to the movie theaters a lot, I really related to Joe, who is also a movie fan, and just the way they present the game as well. The slowdowns, the movie tropes, the whole film across the whole screen, it's just a great experience. And moving on, we have Pokemon XD Gale Darkness and Pokemon Coliseum, two games that were made by a company that we haven't really seen much at all. I'm actually really surprised that they just didn't make any more mainline, or I guess this would be considered a spin-off, but Pokemon games like Pokemon XD Gale Darkness. Because if I recall, they did make some kind of puzzle game on the DS or 3DS. So these two Pokemon games were wonderful creations. I really love how wacky and weird some of the character designs were, and I really love the main character of Pokemon Coliseum, to be more specific. This was one of those Pokemon games that they just completely forgot about and never visited again. I mean, they pretty much left this series in the dark. Now, don't get me wrong, the mainline Pokemon games are really cool, but I have a ton of memories playing this upon hours with my friend, especially Pokemon Coliseum. So I think that if we get these GameCube games on the Nintendo Switch, that would be pretty cool, and these are one of the games that are pretty up high on my list. Or I mean, pretty high on my list. And another game that's high on my list, I'm sure you guys probably already know what I'm gonna say, but The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker is probably number one on my list if these were in order. I remember when The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker came out and people didn't like the art style, and that was a really huge turnoff for them for some weird reason. But me, I completely loved it. I loved every minute of the game, more so because of the art style, and that just might be because I love drawing and I've been drawing since I was a child, so maybe that artist inside me gravitated towards the cel-shaded art style. Having this game on the go would be amazing. We already have it on the GameCube, you can emulate it and all that kind of stuff, I know, but there's no on-the-go option for Nintendo Switch owners. If you want to play this game on the go, you would have to buy a Steam Deck or one of the other many ones that are popping up now, and I don't want to spend over $200 on another console. I mean, even in the first place, if I had that much money to just spend, I would buy a new Switch, a Switch OLED actually. Especially if we get a Breath of the Wild Switch OLED edition like we did with Splatoon, I'd definitely buy that. There are a ton of other reasons why this would be fantastic, and if you want to hear why it should happen and why it should exist, click the top right corner of the video. Now, Twilight Princess is another Zelda game that I would like to see. Now, just like Metroid Prime, I haven't played this game yet, or I should be more specific, I think I only played it for like 5 or 10 minutes and then I completely dropped it a long time ago. That or some other game came out and that took my focus away from it. So having it on the Switch and portable and a higher resolution and so on is just a cherry on top. And next up, let's talk about Star Fox Adventure on the Nintendo Switch. So this is a game that I think not only should be on the Nintendo Switch, I think they should make another game in the same style, but maybe change the combat to be more like Bayonetta or Devil May Cry, or even have it be like open world like Breath of the Wild and have that kind of combat, but with Star Fox, of course. Now, gameplay wise, this game wasn't too deep, it wasn't too, I struggle to say good. It was fun, but it wasn't like, oh, Wind Waker style good, you know what I mean? Janky fun is how I would describe it, I guess. Janky fun is how I would describe it. It's not one of those games that has aged very well like Wind Waker or Twilight Princess. Trust me, I've played it about 3 or 4 months ago, and it's pretty rough, but it was fun at the same time, so it's like one of those janky fun games. It's kind of like Ghost Recon Wildlands, to where the game is really fun to play, but it's because it's so janky that it's fun. And next up, let's bring back Kirby Air Ride. I'm sure you guys probably remember this, I would hope so, because this game was a really, really good underrated gem in the Kirby games. I feel like we don't have enough Kirby games, or not Kirby games, we just got a new Kirby game. I feel like we don't have enough racing games on the Nintendo Switch. We have Mario Kart, yes, with Mario Kart 8, which they're still kind of squeezing as much milk as they can out of that, but I would love to see Kirby Riders on the Nintendo Switch and have another kart racer. Well, it's not karts, but you guys get my point. Now, there are probably a ton of GameCube games that I could have picked as well, but these are just some of them I want. Maybe I'll make a part 2, because this video is actually, yeah, it's going on 11 minutes without editing the audio, so we gotta wrap things up. If you guys want a part 2 of this, I will gladly do a part 2, and also don't forget to tell me what games you want on the Nintendo Switch from the GameCube list, because there are a lot of great ones. There's a ton of Mario Party games, there's Eternal Darkness, there's just a lot of GameCube games that were fantastic on the system. So tell me what you guys want to see on the Nintendo Switch from the GameCube list.